Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 33 of our space shooter DevVenture. So, in the last session, we had just about finished. Oh, I see. Yeah, so it's not remembering. It isn't remembering what I typed in from our last session. As you can see, it's the same as last time. And that's annoying. So I'm going to have to create a new chat. Fine. Let's do that, okay? Let's use DeepSeek to create a new chat inside of DeepSeek, okay? So I want to transfer my progress from this chat to another one. Please prepare a detailed report of what we talked about in this chat, so the new chat can start with our current momentum, or rather, so the new chat doesn't need to catch up and can simply continue where we left off. This is the second time I've returned to this chat to find progress missing. This leads me to believe that this chat has reached its limit. Even though the DeepSeek platform hasn't notified me about this yet. Okay, so there we've got a comprehensive summary. As you can see, it's quite a lot, right? And so now let's take that and put it into a new chat and begin. So for those of you who are wondering, I don't have my camera enabled because I had some technical difficulties with it, and I decided rather to start the live stream on time and to ignore the webcam. So I just disabled the webcam for for this session, and it should come back in the next one, provided the technical issues are resolved by then. All right. It's still going? That's crazy. Oh, okay, now it's just about finished. Okay, so here it goes, giving me feedback on what I've let it know we've done. So here's our summary, and here's what it's talking about, okay? Progress analysis and recommendations. Your project shows excellent architectural thinking and solid implementation of core game systems. Here is my analysis and suggestions for moving forward. Your strengths: clean architecture. There's a 3-layer AI system, strategic, tactical, operational, and it's well designed. You have signal-based communication, which is proper decoupling between systems, and you have resource-driven design, which is configurable and modular. And then also there are comprehensive systems. You have all major game systems in place. You've got your priority recommendation. Oh, well, this is its priority recommendations. How should I prioritize the continued development of this game? All right. Complete the behavior system integration. Implement strategic decision matrix. Add a win condition system. And then in terms of technical enhancements, there's a behavior parameter system, a composite behavior, and advanced movement profiles. Game features to consider: mining economy, enemy AI personalities, dynamic difficulty, and then there's potential issues to address: behavior memory management, performance optimization, error handling in signal chains, and the next phase of development in the short term, the medium term, and the long term. So in the short term, complete and test the behavior seek, implement 2 to 3 additional behaviors, create basic level progression, add simple UI for objectives. And then in the medium term, implement resource mining economy, add ship upgrades or unlocks, create multiple enemy types with different personalities, implement boss encounters, and then in the long term, add a storyline and missions, implement multiplayer and co-op, create modding support via resources, and add advanced visual effects and audio. Your architecture is solid and should scale well. The key now is completing the behavior system and adding compelling gameplay loops around the mining and combat mechanics. Consider starting with a minimum viable gameplay prototype that has one complete level with clear win-lose conditions, and then expand from there. Would you like me to elaborate on any of these systems, or help with specific implementation details? Okay, so it seems like I've got the progress transferred successfully. So now it kind of knows exactly where we are, what the game is roughly about, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now, I should probably mention to the report, because again, it lost the progress of our last 2 sessions, right? It didn't save them. So I need to let this new chat know that we are still trying to work on the player controller modularity simultaneously with upgrading the behavior system, right? So let's talk about that with DeepSea quickly and see what it says. Are you aware of the different game modes? The player should eventually be able to choose between playing as a miner, defender, or pirate. This requires modular design such that the player controller this requires a modular design such that the player controller can be added to any of these vessels at runtime without creating ship variants e.g. npc pirate and player pirate ships. I want the vessel to have only one scene and then have the option of adding the player controller on demand / just in time. I'm aware that we are currently working on the NPC / enemy behavior system, but I want this design on record so I don't forget it. When we are done with these AI systems. Okay, so this is what I've written, and then we can well, I'll read out the message as it's typing because it takes a long time to type, right? So, are you aware of the different game modes? The player should eventually be able to choose between playing as a miner, a defender, or a pirate. This requires a modular design such that the player controller can be added to any of the vessels at runtime without creating ship variants. Example, an NPC pirate and a player pirate. I want the vessel to have only one scene and then have the option of adding the player controller on demand or just in time. I'm aware that we are currently working on the NPC / enemy behavior system, but I want this design on record so I don't forget about it when we are done with these AI systems. Modular player NPC ship design system. Excellent forward thinking. This is a crucial architectural consideration. Here's the design for a unified ship system that supports dynamic role assignment. The core architecture is component-based ships. So again, if we go back to our drawing, I'm talking about composition, okay? The composition architecture pattern where a car is made up of parts, right? So a car has a wheel. A car has an, a car has an engine. A car has an element like exhaust and fuel lines and brake clamps and so on and so forth. And so that's composition, okay? And the same thing here. The player has a vessel to pilot, and the player has a controller to control that vessel, and so on, right? And the vessel has a gun, or the vessel has a, depending on what type of vessel it is, has a mining barrel, and it has a collider, and so on and so forth, right? So that's the basic architecture of Godot in any case. So if I go into the mining vessel, you'll see here the mining vessel has a camera, and the camera has a control, which has a speedometer, which has a reading. It also has a GUI crosshair, and it also has controls hint label, right? And then it also, so the camera also has a mesh. Is that part of the camera? No, it's not. So the mining vessel has a mesh, and it's got a collision mesh, right? And then the grinder itself, so the mining vessel has a grinder arm, which also has a grinder barrel, which has a collision area, and so on and so forth. So you see, it's just a collection of has a relationships, you know, in quotes, has a. So it's just the same. And in the scripting system, it's the same thing, right? It's just code instead of nodes, right? It's just codes instead of nodes. So if we go back to this over here, we see that the ship base has a mesh instance, collision shape, ship type. And then it's got ship systems, a health system, a weapon system, an engine system, a cargo system. So it's obviously just guessing what I've done. It's not obviously confirmed that it knows this, because obviously it doesn't know this. I haven't told it this, right? It doesn't know the details of each scene yet. It's just like if I were to do, so this is basically DeepSeek. It's like, well, if I had to do a ship based scene, this is how I'd do it, right? And the base ship class with role support. It's interesting how it's literally only doing one ship, the base ship, and then adding everything to the base ship depending on stuff. That's an interesting way of going about it, because now you don't have like a predefined setup, right? So you'd have to use like resources for basically everything. You'd have to choose the mesh and the collision shape and everything according to configurations. It's not a bad way to do things. It's just that I'm already so I've already invested quite a lot into creating 3 separate ship classes. Well, not classes, but scenes, right? So I've got scenes for each. So I go scenes, entities, here we go. Right, so here's the player, the pirate, the miner, the defender. They're all there. And each of these scenes is already well established. It's got its own light systems and all these stuff. So I'm gonna have to tell DeepSeek that we already have this type of thing. We don't need a base ship class. We just need to add to each of the ship types functionality that can support the player controlling it, right? Controller interface implementations. Yeah, so this is what I just thought about as well before I read this. And I guess I probably read this and started thinking about it subconsciously without realizing that I had already read this. Or maybe it was just a coincidence, but I doubt it. Anyway, I was thinking about doing the interface between the ship and the player, because remember last session we talked about adding them as siblings to a common route, right? So that means there's going to have to be some kind of inter-node communication. It's not parent to child, it's sibling to sibling. And so that requires signals, or it requires I did a drawing about this to see some way. Here we go. Because it's 2 siblings communicating with each other, it's going to have to be the player controller tells the mining vessel to do something, it tells itself to do something, or it tells the level root to do something, right? And So yeah, we're gonna need a way to do the do something thing. Gonna need a way to communicate that whole do something setup. So here we go. If we look at this interface, it's basically just a connection, a collection of signals and emitting those signals, right? So there's controller ready.emit, and input event. And then initializing the ship controller, which is called in the ready function anyway. And then getting input direction, getting the rotation input, checking if it's firing. That's a lot of code. So this is the interface. We were talking about that now. Then there's role-specific configuration resources. This is a collection of dictionaries, like a dictionary of dictionaries. So you can see here, there's the start of the dictionary. There's the start of a new dictionary. So that's one. 2, 3. Yeah, miner, defender, pirate. And it's basically just talking about capacity multipliers, damage multipliers, and speed multipliers. And then transfer speed, mining bonus, maneuverability. And this is, of course, for the miner. And then damage, range, recharge rate, boost duration, speed multiplier, capacity multiplier, damage multiplier. It's all the same. No, it's not the same. It's different. You can see it's different, okay. And then you've got dynamic ship spawning system and usage examples, enhanced behavior manager for role-specific AI, and the benefits of this design. Okay. Thanks for all this. There are a lot of things you should know about the current setup I have. That makes your suggestion hard to implement without almost starting over. I don't have a base ship class or scene. I have dedicated scenes for each type, i.e. defender, miner, pirate. So I should probably change these names to be just defender, miner, and pirate, because like I mentioned, I want these to be as universal as possible, and then you literally just add the player controller to them, and then poof, you got them, right? The player's controlling it. So Continuing. I have dedicated scenes for each type, i.e. a pirate ship scene, mining vessel scene, and defender scene. I would have left this distinction for now and focused on the AI systems, but you need to know about those distinctions for the AI systems anyway. For the AI systems as well. I have learned a lot about Godot Engine and development in Godot Engine since I started this project. And there are many things I would have done differently if I started today with all that I've learned. What do you require from me to have an understanding of the current setup so we can move forward with the behavior system, with the behavior patterns, and the AI systems in general? You're absolutely right. I shouldn't assume architectural patterns that don't exist in your project. Let me reset and understand what you have actually built, right? What actually have you built? What I need to know about your current setup. In terms of ship architecture, what scenes do you currently have? A pirate ship, a mining vessel, a defender, and so on, right? And then what are the root node types for each scene? What scripts are attached to each ship type? What common components do they share versus what is unique? current AI systems integration? How is your NPC manager.gd currently attached to your enemy ships? What's the relationship between enemy ship controller and your ship scenes? How do you currently spawn different ship types as enemies? And then behavior system status. What's the current state of the behavior seek implementation? How are behaviors currently discovered and managed? What signals are actually working versus what are planned? And then in terms of movement and control systems, how is movement currently handled across different ship types? Do you have a common interface for ship control? And what input systems are in place? And then please share these details. Could you provide scene structure for one of your ship types, the key script relationships between your existing systems, what current pain points with AI behavior, what are your current pain points with the current behavior system, the AI behavior system, and then what specifically do you want to achieve next with the AI? The practical approach moving forward. Instead of redesigning everything, let's work with what you have and incrementally improve on it. So we can make your current AI system work with your existing ship scenes, identify small refactoring opportunities that don't require rewriting everything, build the behavior patterns you need for each ship type, and document what we do differently for future reference. The immediate next step. Once I understand your actual architecture, I can help you complete the seek behavior for your current ships, implement role-specific AI patterns for miner, defender, pirate, make your enemy ship controller work with all ship types, and add new behaviors without breaking existing systems. Please share whatever details you think are relevant, and I'll adapt to work with your actual codebase, not an idealized one. What does your current pirate ship.scene look like, and how is this different from your mining vessel scene? How are you currently handling the AI management? The AI manager attachment. Okay, so let me copy this into the old chat and see what I can extract from that, and then fill in whatever is missing after that, right? Just to save me the effort and save us both the time, you and me. So let's go back to this one and paste this message in here, and then go right up to the top and say, I need to give my new chat some more information. Please read the message below from the new chat and try to answer as much of this as you can. I will fill in the gaps after you have done this. Okay, so here's the message. Okay, so based on your extensive work in this chat, I can provide extensive, or rather comprehensive, answers to these questions. Your current setup, what we've built, the ship architecture, current scenes, we've got the mining player.scene, is that true? Miner player, similar, not quite the same. Enemy ship, target, plasma bolt, So I might have had these names and then renamed them later. So it's okay. We can excuse the chat for this. It's fine. So what I can do is rename these once I pasted them into the new chat, or just leave them and correct the new chat as we go. It's fine. Mining player, enemy ship, target, and plasma bolt. And then we've got root node types. The mining player.scene has character body 3D with mining player behavior.gd. The enemy ship scene has character body 3D with type enemy ship, formerly enemy ship behavior.gd. And it's got target scene, which is an area 3D with type waypoint behavior. No. Is a waypoint a target? A waypoint has a target, but it's not a target. Neither is a target a waypoint. They are separate. All ships use character body 3D as a base. Mining player behavior.gd has player controls, mining, and movement. Type enemy ship is the enemy AI foundation, health, and basic movement. And then shared components are the health ship, the health systems, damage handling, and 3D movement physics. The current AI system integration. The behavior manager integration is a child. The behavior manager is a child node of type enemy ship. It goes enemy ship, and as an immediate child, NPC behavior manager, and then the behavior nodes are children of that. Currently being implemented, not fully operational yet. The enemy ship controller relationship has a singleton that manages all enemy ships in the scene. It uses groups like enemy ship for discovery, and then assigns patterns via signals. Currently handles waypoint navigation for testing. The spawning system currently manual placement in the editor. The enemy ship controller discovers ships via getTree.getNodes in group with the enemy ship group tag, and then IDs are assigned automatically at runtime. And behavior system status, behavior discovery, working signals, movement and controls, and the current architecture details, key script relationships, current pain points, what do you want to achieve next, immediate next steps. Okay, so let's go back to the new chat. So that's the new chat. I went back to the old chat to try and get these questions answered. And here is what I got. Let me know if this answers everything. If not, tell me what I need to, what gaps I need to fill. What gaps I still need to fill. seems like it understands exactly where we left off, right? Because it knows that we haven't actually got the enemy ship controller and the NPC behavior manager to tell the enemy pirate in the testing seek behavior scene to start seeking. So visually, what I'm talking about is this pirate here isn't actually moving because nothing is telling it to move yet. We've got the NPC behavior manager, which has all of its stuff. We've got the enemy ship controller, and all of its stuff. But there's nothing happening right now that says, hey, you pirate, start going to this waypoint. And that's the next step, right? So let's get there. So the immediate next step is to complete the AI integration. That's what we're going to do, right? So based on your architecture, here's what we need to finish. Step 1, fix the type behavior seek.activate. The enemy ship reference issue is likely the main blocker. And then complete the signal chain for behavior completion and test with simple patrol pattern, role-specific AI within current architecture, and then for the miner, the pirate and the defender roles, integration strategy, specific questions to unblock progress. So the strategy is that we will work within your existing structure. We'll complete the seek behavior, then test the pattern system, add role behaviors, assign by ship type, and then if there are specific questions to unblock progress like this, what's the exact error you are getting with the enemy ship reference in type behavior seek? Are the signals connecting properly between enemy ship controller and NPC behavior manager? And can you manually trigger a seek behavior right now, or is it completely broken? Let's focus on getting one behavior working and working end to end. Then the rest will fall into place. Which specific part should we tackle first? This should be easy enough to test, so let's do that. Can we manually get the pirate to go towards a specific waypoint? So if I press numpad 5, for example, will it go to waypoint 5? And if it doesn't, we need to figure out why not. Aha, so it doesn't. Invalid assignment property for key waypoint with value type node path on specific thing. So where is this? Enemy ship.waypoint, waypoint node.getPath. Waypoint node is waypoints at ID. So maybe I should just say waypoint node. I'm guessing that fixes it. Shall we test that? Give it a try. Still not. Invalid assignment of property key waypoint with value of type node 3D on a base object of type character body 3D. What? Waypoint node is... What's going on here? Enemy ship node is an enemy ship. So if I go to enemy ship behavior, there's a waypoint variable apparently. Type enemy ship, has a health, ID, enemy ship label, top speed, acceleration, inertia, current speed, current velocity. Upper enemy ship number. Okay. And the pirate enemy should have in function move enemy to waypoint under enemy ship controller. Okay, yeah, well, I mean, that does make sense. It shouldn't work because the enemy ship controller should not communicate directly with any of the enemies. It should communicate through the pattern. It should call a pattern, and the enemy ship controller, or rather enemy ship behavior, has its own NPC management, right? It should have the waypoints. Maybe not the waypoints, but it should have the understanding of whether it's required in that pattern and what it should do, right? It decides whether it should seek or attack or any of those things. So no, it doesn't work. So let's go back to DeepSeek and tell it. To answer your questions, three, no, I can't manually assign a target, or rather a waypoint, for the enemy ship. For the pirate ship, the pirate vessel, to seek there is no longer a waypoint variable in the enemy ship behavior script being referenced by enemy ship controller So that is already a problem. More importantly though, the enemy ship controller should not communicate directly with the enemy ship. With the type enemy ship instances, it should declare a pattern, and the NPC behavior manager should determine how to respond for each instance. Do you want the latest versions of the code so it's easier to understand what I'm talking about? Error messages won't it doesn't make sense to give you the error messages without the code as context. Yes, absolutely. Please share the latest versions of the relevant code files. Hi, welcome to the live stream. So we're basically almost out of time, but welcome. Thank you for joining. So as you can see, we are trying to work on our AI system for our game, and I'm using DeepSeek to kind of manage things a little bit. But the problem is that we've just to catch you up. So we've run out of space on one of the chats, so we're kind of shifting things over to a new chat and trying to continue from that. So it's asking me for some of the code, or rather I offered to give it the code for context, just so that the debugging process can work a bit better. So here's what it's written. Please share the latest versions of the relevant code files. The architecture has clearly evolved, and I need to see the current implementation to understand what the signals and patterns are actually defined. So what signals and patterns are actually defined now, how the NPC behavior manager is supposed to handle pattern assignment, what the current state of the behavior system is, and where the communication breakdown is happening. So please share these files. So let's do that. Let's give it those files. Yeah, that's true. So the way that I use AI is I give it as much context as possible, although I use it as a tool and not really as a partner in my development system. So I treat it as such, right? So I do the driving and give it all the relevant information, and I keep track of everything as we go. And I'm still the one who does all the design decisions and everything. So it's asking me for enemy ship controller. So let's give it that. Oops. I should have opened this one instead. Here we go. So copy and paste. So yes, I really I agree. It really does help with time saving. And also it frees your mind to do the higher level thinking, that you don't have to get stuck in the details all the time, you know. Okay, so we need to give it enemy ship controller dot gd. So that's the one, and the next one it wants is type enemy ship, which is actually not type enemy ship, but okay, enemy ship behavior dot gd. That's true. We let the AI do all the heavy lifting, or maybe not the heavy lifting, but the tedious work, so we can do more of the advanced work. Still hold. Still has this name, though the class name is type enemy ship. Good question. I'll explain in a moment. Let me just get this code across. Enemy ship behavior. Okay, so you're asking what type of space shooter game is this? If I show you test flight, it should communicate what kind of game this is. Hang on a second, what's this now? Oh, of course, Plasma Bolt has changed its file location. In the scenes, components, general components, Plasma Bolt. Copy path. I think it's absolute path, isn't it? And then just paste it here. No, never mind. It's just the normal path. There we go. Okay, let's try that again. Are you serious? File is in use. Oh, because it's running, that's why. Okay, so it's a first-person shooter game where you pilot a spaceship and you take on one of three roles, right? So you can have 6 degrees of freedom, right? So you know, you can, I think this one was called yaw. Yes, this is yaw, this is pitch, and that's roll. So and then also you can fly around, right? So you can fly around and you can shoot projectiles. So this is the defender ship. There are 3 types, and you basically have different roles depending on different objectives depending on your role, right? So as a, give me 1 second. Yeah. So as a defender, your job is to protect the miner from pirates. As the miner, your job is to, well, mine and not get attacked by pirates. And the defender will protect you. And as the pirate, your job is to attack the miner and not get killed by the defender. So there's like this rock paper scissors kind of dynamic going on, and eventually the game will have the option to play as any of those three types. And yeah, so we're kind of setting that up in the at the moment, and it's going well. If you've been following the live streams, you'll kind of see that we've made quite a lot of progress on the underlying systems, but there's still quite a lot to do. Okay, so we've kind of hit the hour limit, unfortunately. So thank you so much for joining, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you for your interest. Kind of, yes, but Star Citizen is way too big for me. So the scope, because I'm only a single developer, it's going to be a lot smaller. And I'll build on it iteratively, right? So I'll start small and we'll work up from there. Well, yeah. So hopefully, hopefully you found this interesting and decide to join and keep following. Yeah. So I'll be working on this and building on it as we go. But the key is to start small and build up from there, right? Because we don't want to be making too big, too fast, and then fail, and then, Oh, yeah, that's cool. What kind of game are you working on, by the way? Thank you, I appreciate that. Maybe we can discuss your game in the next one. So yeah, so I think I'm gonna have to call it now because we've gone just over an hour, and so I'm gonna make a shout out to our junior DevVenturer Cubes. Thank you so much for your support, and to the rest of you guys. If you want to support, the link is here at the bottom, bottom right of the screen. Visit my Ko-fi page and have a look and see if you are. Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yes, as our latest member has mentioned, you guys really do need to consider joining the Discord server, because that's where we will have our community, right? That's the community. So join the community, and we can carry on with the discussion over there. So until the next live stream, have a good day or night, depending on your time zone, and I'll see you in the next live stream.